Good morning. My name's Gerald. I'm an author, mentor, designer, publisher, vlogger, I suppose. Who knew? This, I hope, will be the first of a series of vlogs, which will probably be called First Pages or something like that, where I'll read out to you the first couple of pages of a novel. I think it'll usually be contemporary, and I will take you through what I think works, what I think doesn't work, because the opening pages of a novel are so important. If you're self-publishing, it's the third thing that people will judge you by. So cover's the first, blurb, description is the second, and the first bit of writing, the first few paragraphs. And it's the same if you're going for traditional publishing, because an agent or a publisher or whoever gets your manuscript submission is going to look at the title, is going to look at the blurb, and he's going to see what your writing's like. Those first few pages are important to set the scene and tell the reader what sort of book it's going to be and what sort of author you are. So today I've been on the bestsellers lists, and I'm going to, and hopefully there'll be a nice image up here when I've done this. I'm going to read to you from a book called Imposter, from the multi-million best-selling author L.J. Ross. So she's published a load of books, and they're all very well rated. This is 5-star rated, 172 reviews, 5 stars. So that's not bad. It's a pretty good book. The average is 4.8 out of 5, and I might give you a little screenshot of that. And when you look at the chart of the reviews, it's interesting to see the shape of it, how many 5 stars compared to how many fewer stars. And this has got a very sharp cut-off, lots of 5, 86% of the ratings are 5-star. So people like it. So let's just look inside. We've got the usual blah, 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 other books by, table of contents, 43 chapters. That's interesting. That sort of gives you the impression it might be a reasonably fast-paced story. You know, the chapters are probably going to be quite short. And we start with a prologue. I like a prologue, I do. August 1987. She was muttering again. The boy heard it from beneath the covers of his bed, an endless droning sound like flies swarming a body. The whispering white noise of madness. Poor, poor baby, she was saying. My poor, poor baby. Over and over she repeated the words as her feet paced the hallway outside his room. The floorboards creaked as she moved back and forth until her footsteps came to an abrupt halt. That is a great opening. You are left in no doubt whose head you're in, whose voice it is, what's going on. You get a sense of place, of location, and you get a sense of unease. I do anyway. Until her footsteps came to an abrupt halt. That's not just, ooh, what's going to happen next? He hunkered further down, wrapping his arms around his legs as if the pattern of Jedi Knights on his Star Wars duvet cover could protect him. Now there, she's doing such a great job of giving you information here. He's a young boy. We don't know how old he is yet. It's not terribly important right now to know exactly how old he is. But if he's got Jedi Knights on his Star Wars duvet cover, he's pretty young. He's probably less than 10 or something like that. I don't have a Star Wars duvet cover, so he's not an old man like me. The door, it's lovely. The door swung open and his mother was silhouetted in its frame, fully dressed despite it being the middle of the night. She strode across the room and shook his coiled body with an unsteady hand. "Wake up! We need to go to the hospital!" The boy tried not to sigh. She didn't like it when he sighed, when he looked at her the wrong way, or when he argued. Even if he did, she wouldn't listen. Now here's a little sort of thing I didn't like. "Wake up, we need to go to the hospital." The boy tried not to sigh. She didn't like it when he sighed, when he looked at her the wrong way. There's almost a bit of head hopping, almost a point of view problem here, because we're definitely in the boy's head. We're definitely, it's the boy's story so far. She didn't like it. I would have preferred to, because how, I was going to say, how does he know she doesn't like it? There are ways that she can show that she doesn't like it. I think if she'd have said, she got angry when he sighed, I think that would have been better, because then you're seeing it from his point of view, not from her internal anger point of view. That's the only thing, but it is a minor point. You could probably argue both ways for that. "I'm awake," he mumbled, although his body was crying out for sleep. He was always sleepy. Again, there's more information here. Disturbed sleep is not unusual for this boy. There's something going on. "Come on, get dressed," she continued, and he tried not to look directly at her as she scurried about the room, pulling out clothes at random for him to wear. You see, she's not thinking of him, pulling clothes out at random clothes, no sort of coordination, or no, this is what he likes to wear, just random clothes, just quick. And we don't know what the, what the hurry is at this moment. He didn't want to see her eyes or what was hidden behind them. They'd be dark again, like they were before, and they'd look straight through him. There came a soft moan from the bedroom next door, and his mother hurried out, leaving him to pull on jeans and a faded Power Rangers t-shirt. So, yeah, more evidence he's a young boy. The clock on the bedside table told him it was 3:17 a.m. in cheerful neon green light. If he had the energy to spare, he might have wondered whether the children he'd seen playing in the garden next door ever got sick, like he did, or whether they got to go to school. He remembered going to school once. At this stage, you're starting to think, yeah, there's something not right. Munchausen's, maybe. Munchausen's by proxy. His mother's obviously a bit disturbed, and he has disturbed night's sleep, and he doesn't go to school. He remembered going to school once. He remembered liking it. But his mother said he was too ill to go to school now, and he'd learned so much more at home where she could take care of him and Christopher. So again, we've dropped information. There was a moan from the room next door. There's somebody else in the house who's not happy or ill or something, and now we learn that this is Christopher, or we assume it's Christopher. It wasn't her fault that, despite all her care, neither boy seemed to get any better. The innocence of youth. Once, when she thought he was asleep, she'd come in to sit on the edge of his bed. She'd stroked a hand over his hair and told him that she loved him. For a moment she thought Mummy had come back, but then she'd moved her mouse close to his ear and told him it was all because Daddy had left them to be with something called a filthy whore, and everything would be all right if he'd never gone away. So we get a real picture of the family dynamic here. He hadn't known what she meant. At first he'd wondered if some kind of galactic monster had lured his father away. Poor kid. Maybe at this very moment he was trapped in a cast of bronze, just like Han Solo. She called his name, and the boy dragged his skinny body. Another close skinny body. He's not being very well looked after, is he? The boy dragged his skinny body off the bed. There was no time to make up fairy tales about his father, or to wonder how other children lived, or how they died. great opening to a story. Apart from that one little chink about the point of view, which might just be me being hypersensitive. But there is so much information that you're shown there. She's doing the traditional show not tell. So she doesn't tell you this is the family situation in this house and this is the problem with his mother. No, you're being shown it by his internal monologue and the start of the narrative. It's a very good. I mean, you know, it's got tension. It's got a child in jeopardy. It gets, you know, it goes on like that. So that was Imposter, an Alexander Gregory thriller, the Alexander Gregory Thrillers Book 1 by L.J. Ross. So yeah, so hopefully that's a bit of an insight into what the opening of a novel should be, especially of this type. I'm hopefully going to be doing other types of novels, other genres, and I'm going to be doing ones that don't work quite so well. Not in order, and in those cases I won't shame the author, but it's just to show you what I think does and doesn't work, and how I go about critiquing novel openings. Okay, if you've enjoyed the video, please give it a thumbs up. Subscribe to the channel, I'd be so grateful. I've got a Patreon channel where other videos are being recorded and uploaded. So if you're interested in that, you can participate from $1 upwards. It's not about the money, but it's about participating and you supporting the work of a creative like me. Thanks so much. Catch you next time. Bye bye. Bing. In my work of what I hope will be a series of video. And when you look at it doesn't say what the average is. Oh, there we go. And we've got the usual blah blah blah. Published in some year. I don't know when it was published.